Wish to call to order the Rutherford County Regional Planning Commission for November the 10th, 2025. At this time, we'll ask that everyone please stand for our prayer and pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Michael Shirley.
Would you bow with me, please? God, thank you for this day and for this opportunity that we have to come together tonight. We pray for your guidance as we make decisions that will affect our county. Be with all of the people that work in our county and for our county to deliver services for the citizens here, and just pray that all of our work here be pleasing to you. And it's in your Son's name we pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. This time we'll have the roll call and determination of quorum. Madam Secretary.
Jim Averwater. Jeff Phillips. Mike Cush.
Present.
Lee Vogel.
Here.
Charlotte P. Trey Gooch. Jim Thompson. Michael Shirley.
Here.
Jason Beavers. Amber Brown. Pettis Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. We'll now have the approval of our minutes, and I'll call on the Vice Chairman for the October 27th meeting. Mr. Vogel.
The minutes are ready for approval. I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Have the second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? The minutes have been approved. Any public comments at this time?
No, sir.
No public comments for our period at this time. Items withdrawn or deferred.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there were a couple of items that were removed from the agenda. You'll see that the agenda on your tables, the paper copies, got one of the, the only preliminary plan scribbled out. That's for Toddington Square subdivision. That was removed by the request of the applicant's design engineer. We will not be considering that tonight. Also, we did send a revised agenda last week. One of the rezoning requests, there's two requests by Javier Olvera. One of his requests was on Epps Mill Road. You'll notice that that is also not on the agenda for tonight. However, the other one on Shelbyville Pike is. So those are the two items that were removed from the agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. We'll move into our new business at this time, starting with item A, waiver request. Item 1, Brittany Wix, 254005, requesting an off-site soils waiver for property located at 717 Morton Road. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and good evening, everybody. The applicant would like to split the subject property into 3 parcels. According to their application, each lot will have a dedicated soil site as well as a duplicate site. However, Lot 2 would have an existing home located on it, and its current field lines would fall on Lot 1. So what they're asking for is the waiver for the off-site easement for Lot 2's field lines. They are asking for this prior to submitting a plat. They do realize that if this is approved, that they would have to submit a plat, and that plat would also have to be approved by the Planning Commission since it does contain a waiver. But I believe the applicant's present. But with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, questions or comments?
All right. I had 2 or 3. Just, I'm assuming when they get all their approvals, it works out fine. TDEC, I have to look at this.
That's correct. Yes, sir. They'll have to sign the plat before it's recorded.
And I was looking at the plat earlier, and it was showing a shared driveway for 2 and 3 also. I'm assuming that, are they going to leave driveway shared, or are they going to separate with driveway?
Well, it looks like they've got enough road frontage where they could do their own driveway for each. Now, if they wanted to do a shared arrangement, it would just be a matter of providing cross-access easements. We don't have an opinion one way or the other on that, so that'd be fine.
Okay. And then just from a homeowner's point of view or a lot owner, I was looking at that plat 1 and 2, put down, would it not make it cleaner to just redraw the lines on 1 and 2 lot to keep the lines right on the lot? As far as the soil site, looks like it could very easily make it, we wouldn't have to ask for an exception. That's all I got.
Anyone else? The applicant is here if you were wanting to speak to the applicant. I'll ask that the applicant do come forward this time.
And I apologize, I may have been mistaken. I thought maybe they were here, but I'm not seeing them.
Are they not here?
Yep.
Okay. Commissioners, up to you.
Mr. Chair, Doug, it looks like there are smaller lots in that area, correct?
Correct. This backs up to, I believe it's Rachel's Place subdivision. So those are 15,000, yeah, it's a step system, and they're all about 15,000 square foot lots.
Do you see any reason that this would not be suitable for approval?
Well, the only thing they're asking for here is the ability to have the waiver. Of course, they'll still have to submit a plat, and we'll still have to look at that. I mean, from a waiver standpoint, I mean, I don't think I have a strong opinion one way or the other about it, but when it's brought up for plat review, we may have some additional comments, but just that part of the plat doesn't cause me any major heartburn.
Second.
Have a motion approved and second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? It has been approved. Item B, item B has been removed. Going to C, submitted for final plat approval. Number 1, Mantle One lot subdivision. 1 lot on 2 acres zoned RM located along Weekly Lane. Sherry Ann Cunningham is the applicant, includes waiver for a lot of less than 5 acres on a private easement and a 5 hydrant distance waiver. Mr. Demasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This plat was reviewed by staff earlier in the year. The property is within the Gladeville Utility District. A fire hydrant can be supported on the existing water line, but the location prescribed by Gladeville is going to make it outside of 1,000 feet from where the subject property is located. So that required the waiver request for that part. They're also asking for a lot of less than 5 acres along the private easement. There is a letter within your agenda. Well, I'm sorry, there was supposed to have been a letter from the applicant describing their request in here. But besides the waivers, the applicant and their design engineer, their surveyor, have actually addressed the comments that we had on this. The plat in and of itself is in good order. It's just a matter now of asking for the waivers. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Shirley.
Thank you. Doug, they're still going to have to put in the fire hydrant that Gladeville is requesting?
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's just further up the road, outside of 1,000 feet, correct?
Thank you.
Other questions? Is the applicant here this evening? We'll just ask that you come forward at this time to answer any questions from the commissioners.
While she's on her way up, I will add that this is family division for a family member.
Okay. Come right up here. And right behind the podium there facing the commissioners. Okay, that's fine. If you'll just tell them exactly what you're doing there, that's fine.
Well, yeah, we bought this farm several years ago, and we're making it kind of like our family farm. We've already got one of our daughters that live on there with her family and grandkids, and we were hoping to get this other 2 acres approved for our other family and our bonus kids and bonus grandkids, and we're just trying to help these kids out any way we can. You got anything else to say?
No, I just want to reiterate that we're not receiving any remuneration for this. We're not trying to build a housing development or anything. We're just trying to get all the family in one place. So,
Any other questions? If not, thank you. You may be seated.
Move to approve with staff comments.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
second.
Have 2 or 3 seconds right there. Further comments or discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, it has been approved. Moving down to C2, Young Trust, minor subdivision, 252079. One lot on 2.02 acres, zoned RM, located off Rucker Road. Shannon Hicks for the Home Team Incorporated is the applicant. Includes a waiver for a lot of less than 5 acres off a private easement. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, sir, thank you. The applicant is proposing to divide a 2-acre parcel adjacent to an existing 2-acre parcel on this property. They will be accessed using a 50-foot access easement back to Rucker Road. A fire hydrant is being added, which will place the property within 1,000 feet of the hydrant. However, similar to the last application we just considered, this property is less than 5 acres in size, so they are requesting a waiver to that 5-acre minimum along a private easement. Besides that issue, this plat has been revised. According to our staff comments, this really is the only outstanding item. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, Doug, do you see any, this is an interesting, if you can pull up the, Mike, if you can go back to, yes, thank you. Down at the bottom right-hand corner, right along the, is that Elam Mill Road?
Well, that's Rucker. That's the railroad track right there.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now I know where we're at now better. But as that develops, are we looking at any issues by approving this, in your opinions? Like, are we good on the private easement there?
Well, they may access that private drive, possibly. Now, they are going to have their own easement back to Rucker. Is it causing any issues if that whole property were to develop, that rest of that property develop at some point? I mean, they would just have to work around what's there, quite frankly. They would have to build some public roads back there because at this point, they're getting close to maxing out what they can do for a private easement.
And I have a question for our fire marshal here. Any concerns for you all for getting trucks and things back there? Have you had a chance to look at that on that?
So it's right at the minimum of our access, which is 20 feet, the code requires. So it's suitable, it's small, but it's, it's essentially enough for us to be able to get back effectively.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Anyone like to talk to the applicant? Is the applicant here? Let you come forward and let you explain what you have in mind and what you're doing. Evening. And same process.
I'm Russell White. I'm here to represent the applicant and the land surveyor on this project. So this 2-acre tract, Jessica and her husband live on that 2-acre existing tract north of it. And so this parcel is being divided off of the family. Her and her brother are the heirs to the larger portion, and this is going to be divided off for her daughter.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Commissioners? Have a motion. Have a second. Further comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, it has been approved. Moving into Section D, submitted for the site plan approval. Item 1 is on Sledge Road, or Phase 1, 253025, construction of a 3,000 square foot storage building and accessory mulch equipment storage on 42.9 acres, zone PUD, located along Sledge Road. Jeff Moody is the applicant. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, sir, thank you. This property probably looks familiar to the Planning Commission. We considered this zoning a little earlier this year. The County Commission approved it back in August at their August 14th meeting. Phase 1 of this project, which is what they said is going to be for mulch and equipment storage on the very western side of the property, and it's only going to access Sledge Road. We did send several comments to the applicant's design engineer, SEC, on this. There is a representative present that can answer questions. They have designed it according to what they said they would do in the pattern book. With that, most of the comments have been addressed. Mike may have a couple of outstanding things he may want to discuss, but with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
No, they've addressed our comments. We had one comment about the driveway access being a little too close to the cross drain. They're going to have to extend a existing drain that comes across Sledge Road and then drain it back to the back of the site. But other than that, I think we are agreeing with what they've presented.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, when we originally made this zoning change for the PUD, we talked about the entrance being large enough for the tractor trailers or, unloading. You all feel comfortable with the way that this is set up?
Yes, that was one of the comments we made, to make it a little bit wider entrance than they have.
Okay, so so that was a part of what you were just talking about there, the width of that entrance?
Well, yeah, and then they moved it over away from the drain, the cross drain, to get it away from that.
And no turn lanes were warranted here with school traffic? We talked about that?
Yes. It's just to store equipment, so it's not multiple uses.
But they can make a right-hand turn into there without having to get in the left
Yes.
lane to swing in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Have a second. Any further comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? It has been approved. Item 2, Moody Excavating, LLC, Shop Addition, 253026, construction of a 2,271 square foot shop addition and a 2,650 square foot lean-to on 12.37 acres, Zone EAC, located along Forbus Road. Moody Excavation, LAC, is the applicant. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. As you stated, the applicant is proposing to make an addition to the existing shop/office on this property. While we were reviewing the plan, upon resubmittal, it turns out that there's also an unpermitted storage structure, the lean-to you were discussing a moment ago, on the western side of the property closer to Interstate 24. They went ahead and included it on the plan as well to bring everything into compliance with current standards and what the approval process typically is for these kind of buildings. We did send our comments to the applicant's design engineer. I believe those have been addressed pretty much to staff's satisfaction. Quite frankly, if it wasn't for the fact that the lean-to was there, we would have handled this administratively because it was less than 3,000 square feet. But with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have.
There is one little thing they'll have to work out with the city, and I'll try to show you. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. So the unpermitted equipment storage shed back here with the white roof. Good news is that it is not sitting on city sewer that runs through the property. The bad news, it's sitting on an easement for the city sewer. So they'll have to work with the city on rerouting that easement or adjusting it to make that legitimate. But right now, the building is in several feet into the easement. So that's why we always recommend getting a permit for your building.
Questions? Or comments?
I have a question, I guess. If the city says, no, we're not interested in doing any of that movement, rerouting the easement, will we see this again, or will they just have to tear it down?
Most likely, there was a house behind my subdivision that was built into their sewer easement. And it was under construction. They had to pick the house up, set a new foundation, and move it over. So that's an option.
So if I move to approve with all staff comments, then it goes on to the city?
Yes, sir.
from here? I wish them the best of luck. I will make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? It has been approved. Item 3, Dollar General, 253027, construction of a 10,640 square foot general retail building on 2.63 acres, Zone CS, located along Highway 99. Highway 99 Holdings is LLC, is the applicant. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. The applicant is proposing to split about 2.5 acres from the parent tract. This is owned by Triton Construction, and they would like to construct a new Dollar General. The applicant has met with staff and TDOT several times to discuss access. The plans do show a left turn lane being constructed coming from, I guess that'd be the south-southwest along Highway 99 to access the property. So that will be part of this approval, should it be approved. We did send our comments to the applicant's design engineer. I know that there were several that were addressed. I think there may have been a handful that still needed a little bit of work. As far as planning and zoning comments, I think most of those have been taken care of. I think that engineering may still have a thing or two. I'll turn it over to Mike to let him discuss. The applicant is present and can answer further questions.
Thank you, Doug. Yes, they have addressed most of our comments. I think there might just be one or two minor ones, but all in all, it's in good shape. And you can see on Highway 99, and I'll try to get to the other page with a turn lane, that they will be required to do a northeast left turn lane into the site. They did line up the driveway across the street to help avoid conflicts that way. But all in all, the plans are in good order, just a few minor comments.
Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is this site right next door to the Triton where they have some large construction equipment out behind it and a nice office building out front? It would be just, I'm assuming this is on the southwest side of
Yes, sir.
Of that building, but just before you get to the storage units down there at Thompson's.
Yes, sir. Another
Great place,
nice
okay.
unit there. This is the Triton office. It's both these parcels, and they're carving off. Their parcel will be down here at this very end. And the driveway that they're lining up with is right here across the street, if you can see that. And here's Jackson Ridge Road for reference, and the mini storage you mentioned.
Would you like to talk with the applicant? I know representatives here tonight.
Mr. Chair, not hearing any questions, I'll make a motion to approve, subject to staff comments.
We have a motion to approve. And a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? It has been approved. Item 4, PrimeTime C-Store, a reapproval, 233017, construction of 3,789 square foot convenience store with canopy on 3.52 acres, Zone CS, located along Sulphur Springs Road. Chad Collenhurry is the applicant. Mr. Massey.
Yes, sir, thank you. This site plan was last approved by the Planning Commission back in July of 2023. That was not the first time it had been reapproved. So this would be at least the second, I believe the second time, should this be approved tonight. Obviously, construction hasn't started on the plan, or else it wouldn't be here tonight, but I will say the applicant and his design engineer have been active in completing the road plans for Sulphur Springs Road. As you recall, part of this and some of the other ones we were looking at on this section of Sulphur Springs Road was to widen that section of road out to 3 lanes, basically from where we're looking here back to the three-way intersection. So I believe those plans are pretty much in order at this point. So it just turns out right now that, well, this plan's expired just due to a lot of the work that went into that. So nothing has changed with this. They were just kind of waiting to get the plans done before we'd let things progress with this. So with that, we don't have any further comments on this, but it does need to be reapproved. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments?
Move to approve with staff comments.
And a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? It has passed. We now go to section E, rezoning and zoning ordinances and amendment request. All rezoning and regulation amendments requests were considered at the December 11, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting unless deferred or withdrawn by the Planning Commission or the applicants. First one is Michael Jones for Carlos Concrete Construction, LLC, REZ 25026. Location, Joe Brown Road. Commissioner is Rick Hall. Size of sites, approximately 1.9 acres. Tax map is 48E. Existing zoning is residential medium density RM. Proposed zoning is commercial services. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, sir, thank you. This application is a result of a zoning enforcement case. A complaint was received by our zoning enforcement officials back in February of this year that an unpermitted business was operating from the property. An investigation confirmed that there was indeed a business being operated on the site. We initiated contact with the business owner, and a meeting was scheduled to discuss the situation and possible options for remediation. Since this meeting, most of the material and vehicles stored on the property, this is an older aerial photo, which you're looking at here, most of that's been removed. However, our zoning enforcement folks inspected the property about a week or so ago and did notice, about 2 weeks ago, I guess, and did notice that there are some properties and structures, some portable storage containers that had been brought back to the property. In your agenda package, you'll find a concept plan demonstrating development intentions. Again, this is not a planned development, so they're not locked into that, but it does give you an idea. They are showing 3 conic storage containers and parking areas for both employees and work vehicles. Of course, should this application be approved, they would have to submit an engineered site plan. Looking at the site, and most of it has been disturbed and, at gravel or whatnot added to the property, there would have to be some changes made, just due to lot coverage and those kind of things. But that's something, again, should the application be approved, we would handle on a site plan submittal. This does have property frontage along Joe Brown Road. Again, I'll reiterate, a site plan would have to be submitted, as well as a plan demonstrating our landscape buffers. Looking around the area, the closest non-residentially zoned property is about 1/3 of a mile to the south of this property, which is actually along Leanna Central Valley Road. That's the mini warehouse facility. You can kind of see zoned commercially to the south there at the bottom of the screen that Mike's got on the big screens. There's no commercially zoned properties along Joe Brown Road. You'll notice the discussion I have regarding consistency with Plan Rutherford. Not sure this is a good candidate for rezoning, but that's the discussion that's up to the Planning Commission to discuss further. So with that, I believe the applicant's present, and we'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Commissioners, open for discussion and questions and comments. Commissioner?
Mr. Chair, what's the condition of Joe Brown Road? Looking at the photos, it doesn't look like it's lined.
I mean, it's a typical county 2-lane road. When you say condition, as far as, shoulders and whatnot, I mean, it is maintained by the county highway department.
Commissioner?
Yes, sir. 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 Yes, Mike's going to kind of zoom in there and do a little bit of.
Yeah. It is pretty narrow. I can try to measure that if you'd like.
While Mike is doing that, how did we find out about it? Was it complaints?
Yes, sir. There was someone had called and complained about it. Ms. Bell may have more information as the particulars of the complaint itself, but it was a complaint into our zoning enforcement office.
Tom, you know how long they've been operating that business out of that? Do you know how long?
They actually moved it from another location in Rutherford County that was also zoned residential, in the hopes that the seller and realtor told them that this was commercial and that they could do this on this property. As soon as we called them and let them know that it wasn't, they removed everything. I was unaware that there was a storage building. I heard Doug just say that when you guys went out and posted your signs. Is that when that?
No, actually, I think one of the inspectors went out there and looked at it per my request. Yeah.
So I wasn't aware that he had placed a storage building there. When we reached out to him, he removed everything. So to answer your question, short answer, a couple of months, I think.
And it looks like it's a little less than 16 feet wide.
Any more questions? Is the applicant here? Ask that you come forward at this time. And let us have your name and explain what your plans are for this piece of property.
Yes, sir. My name is Carlos de Alcerda. So when I bought the property, I asked the real estate agent if it could be used for parking. She told me yes. She said it was no restrictions and anything. I don't need it for anything else rather than just parking. No customers are going to come into it. No, nothing. It was just strictly just for parking my vehicles to be able to go to work. But when I bought it, I didn't know it wasn't in compliance, because when I think commercial, I think customers going in or, to make money off of it, like storage facilities that charge people to do it. So I was not aware of that. I was not doing something illegal. As soon as I found out, I did everything that I was told and just tried rectifying everything.
Questions for the applicant?
I'm not too sure I even understand what's going on here, other than we got a piece of property there that you're trying to park trucks on during the day while you guys work. Where do you guys go to work at once they park?
So we do concrete. So we park our trucks there, and it's just the basic truck with trailer. We have a skid steer and, a little bit of wood. We do driveways here in Murfreesboro. Sometimes we go to Nashville, and we just do construction. So it's just somewhere to park it. And a lot of people in the area do the exact same thing. So that's why I thought, I didn't know I was doing anything out of the ordinary, because multiple people do the exact same thing. But I wasn't really aware that I was doing something. And it doesn't show businesses as it, so I thought it was just, people just doing the work out of it.
But now, did I understand correctly that you had another place you was operating like this, and it's brought to your attention, hey, we can't do this, and you moved to this location?
So when they informed me that the other property that I was in that had happened, I talked to the owner, which was Tony Morris, and I had already bought the other property, and I had already told him that I was moving to this other property, so he never made me aware that somebody had complained, since I guess when it happened, I was already leaving to the other one. So he didn't even make me aware, because it was already in plans. Because before that probably complaint, I had already bought that property 2 months prior, and I was like graveling and everything, so that's probably why he didn't make me aware, because I had already told him I was leaving.
I guess, Mr. Chairman, the question for me would be, is there something that needs to go through a formal process as far as, have we had a public hearing for the neighbors, or where we at with knowing where to rezone a piece of property? Typically, I'm thinking we have a public hearing or something, right?
Right, yes, sir. But when this part of the meeting, when you're done with the applicant, Mr. Chairman, well, I'm sure we'll open up for public hearing to see if anybody's speaking for or against. I did receive a phone call about it. I don't know if the person I spoke with was really for or against, just had questions, I think. But I hadn't gotten a whole lot of phone calls about this or our other application that's on tonight's agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, now you said they were only parking, but through the photos, there are shipping containers and there are trailers, and there's much more than just employee parking in the photos.
Yeah, we put, so we have like generators and like concrete saws that we don't use day-to-day basis. So I had bought a storage container to put them inside, that way they don't get wet and ruined.
And one of the concerns that I have regarding this, if it's approved, like I had mentioned earlier in the staff report, I mean, obviously, vehicle storage and things like that, we don't allow gravel parking. You know, if it's material storage, that kind of thing, yes, we would. But there's going to have to be upgrades to the site if it's approved. Plus, buffering adjacent to residential properties. It looks like he's got a privacy fence there, at least for around a portion of it. But there has to be, at least, if there's going to be a fence, there has to be at least 15 feet of vegetation along with that. So, I mean, obviously, the site as it's currently designed is not up to our standards. So if it were to be approved, they would have to go ahead and make changes to it via site plan.
Yeah, I would. Anything just to make it compliant. Like I said, I didn't know it wasn't compliant, so anything that y'all asked me to do, I'm more than willing to do it.
Any other questions for the applicant? If not, thank you.
I might
Got one more.
I might have one more minute public hearing speaking take place. If you guys are meeting there, I'm sure they're coming in grabbing breakfast or whatever. One of the complaints might be where the employees might be relieving themselves or whatever before they head out to the job site. Are you got any plans?
So typically, we show up to the job, well, we leave the shop, like, right, everything's already on the truck, so we usually just go, and we have to go fuel the trucks right away. So we go to the gas station on the racetrack that's nearby, which is a 10-minute drive, so usually we just go to the bathroom at the gas stations if need be. But if I need to install either a porta potty or anything to make it compliant, I'll, yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you know if the property has a sole site?
It does not. That's why when I wouldn't have bought the property if I knew I couldn't use it for what I was using it, because it's 2 acres. It was all rock. Like, that area is very rocky. There was nothing, nothing other than parking I could find a use for it. So that's the only reason I would have never bought this property if I didn't think that I could do it, especially with so many neighbors that do similar things as me. But yeah, no soil site at all, and yeah, it was all just rocky. So no soil site.
You bought the property thinking it was already zoned commercial, correct?
No. I didn't even know it was supposed to be commercial. So I asked the lady, and she told me, I asked her if this could be used for parking. And I probably have the message just there. I think it was by text message, but she told me it was no restrictions. And she said when properties, now I know of course, but when properties are no restrictions, that you can basically, use it for whatever, but, as I come to find out, it's not.
So you bought the property thinking that you could use it for what you're using it for without coming to the county with the site plan to approve it?
Yes, sir, I am, excuse my ignorance, but I'm 22 now, but when I bought it was 21. So this first property I've ever bought, first anything, I wasn't aware of, I didn't even know there was something called Planning and Zoning Commission, so it was on me for not investigating more and just taking into account what she had told me. But yeah, I had just asked her, because I didn't see like actual like a storefront or anything more commercialized or other people coming in rather than myself. I just thought of it as parking, like people park their cars on the driveway.
I don't know how to say this, but the property is zoned for residential use, and you're in a residential neighborhood. You didn't think that it would bother the neighbors if you started this business there. You said that you knew it was zoned residential, but you thought you could park stuff there. So I guess my question is, this is a residential neighborhood on a very narrow road. You didn't think that the neighbors would have a problem with you doing that, operating a commercial business on a residential neighborhood. You didn't think to ask when you bought it, you didn't think to ask the neighbors. I'm just wondering, what were you thinking?
When I did start clearing the tree, I had my two next door neighbors come up to me, and when I talked to them, they were like completely fine. Actually, the neighbor to my left even offered to sell me 3 acres, maybe 5 acres. But again, I didn't know residential. I just heard, she just told me it was non-restriction. So I wasn't too aware of what difference it made. But yes, I had 2 neighbors talk to me, and they said, yeah, it's completely fine. And I told them if ever any of the guys gave them like, I always tell my guys, no, nothing, just coming to park. I told them like if they ever had any issues or any problems, please be the first to let me know.
Let me kind of go back a little bit and get it clear in my mind. All you want to do is park cars there, right?
Yes.
That's all you want to do. I see some storage there. Looks like some rock piles. I'm not sure that that's used for parking. If I'm not mistaken, I saw several rock piles. Am I seeing things, or was there rock piles?
So probably the rock piles, we were putting them to spread them out. As you can see in the picture right there, we were using them to spread them out. If you go, if there's more updated pictures, that has already used to be spread out. It was very rocky. It was like they were different, like rocks that big in the land, so we had to level it on to make it usable. So yeah, that was all used to spread out. That was rock brought in to spread out.
Has that been done?
Yeah. All the gravel had already been spread out.
Okay. And just so the commission understand, the pictures you're looking at are from earlier this year, I like early 2025, January. This one here that we're looking at right now is January. The aerial photo that's on the county's GIS, I believe, was, early, kind of early 2025 as well, kind of in the middle of the winter there. So they do that on purpose so the leaves aren't on, so they get more visual on what's on the ground. So just be aware that it probably doesn't look like that today, but a lot of that gravel, of course, is there.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm interested in when you found out you had a violation. Ms. Bell, you said that when you made him aware of it, he immediately started to remove the vehicles and storage things that were the reason for the call, original complaint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we received a call, and we gave them 3 weeks, 20 days to clean it up, and they had it cleaned up.
Thank you. Since you knew you were coming back here today, I know we're about to have a public hearing. Some of my questions are going to be answered, whether or not people come up. Tell me about your outreach to the immediate neighbors. You talked about 2 of them. What about the rest of the neighbors? Have you spoken with anyone else?
I have not, just because I feel weird to go inside somebody's property to go talk to them, and I have the neighbor on the very right corner that I've talked to, because somebody hit one of their rocks and flew it 100 feet that he used for a barrier, and I went over there with the skid steer and helped him move it back, and just helped him out. But no, I haven't talked to any. Only neighbors that ever came to talk to me and that I've actually spoken to are to the left and to the right of them.
Tell me about tell me about your hours of operation and what kind of noise you would be making at this location.
The noise would be just getting in, turning on the truck and leaving. Occasionally we might have to, let's say, unload a skid steer and load a mini X, maybe swap a machine, but other than that, we shouldn't be making much more noise than that.
Do your equipment have backup beepers so that when you're loading them and unloading them, are they beeping? Okay.
Yeah, some of them, just the more technological ones.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And what about your dump trucks? Backup beepers on those?
No. So I have that single axle dump truck, which I don't use as much anymore. Before I was more into driveways and stuff. Now it's more new construction, so I don't have much use of it. It possibly actually might have a backup beeper, but it's small, single axle, non-commercial.
And a lot of your trucks diesel?
Yes, sir.
So they're warming up before y'all get there, warm them up, idling?
In the cold, yeah, we
Sure.
warm them up. Yeah, yes, sir.
I think for me personally, a concern that I have is that you're asking for a rezoning versus, so we're completely changing the zoning. And as mentioned, all of your neighboring properties are residential, and this would be out of place in that area. So there are some other options for you that you could speak with the department about. But for me, it's going to be really hard to rezone a commercial, making this commercial, because if you decide to move, then having it rezoned allows a lot of other options out there versus something like a PUD, which would be very specific to what you're asking for. So just wanted to let you know about that. And I appreciate, as a business owner, there were so many things that I didn't know about when I started. And a lot of them I learned after finding out I did it the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
And so I can appreciate that, and I commend you for starting a business and doing something. It stinks for you that you've got a piece of property that you may not be able to use, but for us as a planning commission, we're trying to weigh the whole community's expectations for their property as well. So, thank you.
Any more questions for the applicant? If not, gentlemen, you may sit down. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
At this time, we will open and move the meeting to the public comment period. And those of you who have come to make comments either for or against this application, we ask that you do so at this time. You'll have 3 minutes to make your statements, either for or against. And we'll ask that you will come up here to the podium. You have exactly 3 minutes. There are 3 lights you'll notice here. They're green, yellow, and red, just like traffic lights. You start at green, yellow means it's about time to quit, and red means you are to stop. So we'll ask that you come forward this time if anybody has any comments concerning this property. Ask that you come forward. Anybody wants to come forward? If not, we'll close the public comment period. Commissioners?
Ms. Bell, what was the complaint? That they were running a business and not zoned?
Yes, our comment says we received a call from a neighbor inquiring as to the operations, saying that there was cars and commercial trucks being stored on the adjacent property.
My question, I guess, would be, man, I'm surprised that nobody is here. If somebody filed a complaint and they don't have the wherewithal to come up here and let's talk about, is there really an issue here? That's the question I got. How much notice did we give them? Did we put signs up and all that good stuff?
Yes, sir. Put up a sign, and we notify property owners within 1,000 feet. And of course, our agendas and everything are published on our website.
Looking at that map, let's go back to that map again. I thought I seen a yellow, you say that's a storage business down there. Is there a Dollar General in that area?
There is, yeah, going to the south there, yeah, you're correct, that there is a mini warehouse facility right there. And then right in, I guess, front, for lack of a better word, is where the Dollar General is located. And actually, right down the street, going toward 840 was that, where Mike's kind of circling, that's where that PrimeTime C-store is located.
That's right next to 840.
Correct.
I'm not seeing a lot of residential over there where this is green and highlighted out. I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of houses there, and I get that the road's small, but if I've got an issue with this as a neighbor, I'd be here tonight. Ain't nobody here.
Well, when you look at the area, I mean, you can look at the map Mike's got up there. I mean, a lot of these are larger tracts. There are houses directly across the street, immediately adjacent. There's a cell tower right to the, I guess that'd be to the west of the property. That's what that is, right there. And a house a little further down. I think he actually accessed the property off of Ruby Drive is where that is. When you start going a little further down Joe Brown Road, again, there are houses, but there's a lot of open, vacant land in that area. There's not a whole lot of soul sites, and I think is what we start running into when you start going. So there are houses up and down through there, but they are on a lot of, as you can tell, larger lots. The closest subdivision that we would consider would be a little further up looking at Central Valley Road, which would be, yeah, right now that's Madison Cove.
Mr. Chair, and Commissioner Thompson, not everyone is able to come at 6 o'clock on this particular day and this particular time every time, but we do have complaints. I mean, I agree that it's a small, narrow road. There are no other commercial zoned close by. We have no soil site for any septic. It would be, I feel, spot zoning for commercial. So I would like to move for it to be denied.
I have a motion to deny and a second. Further discussion?
I have a question for, if they were to bring this back as a PUD, then we could put all the restrictions on there. Can they alter their application to make it a PUD versus rezoning for just blanket rezoning?
I mean, we've allowed that in other situations in the past where there's someone that's come up here and they said, well, we'd rather see this as a PUD. So they've denied one application and then, we just kind of transfer it into a planned development and bring the application back. Should they decide to go that route with it?
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah. I definitely am with Ms. P on this. For all the reasons that she listed, I understand, I think, where Mr. Thompson's coming from for this particular applicant. If this was a PUD and I knew that it was going to be, this is what it was going to be, and that if he ever closed his business, that's all that could be back there, and they had a neighborhood meeting and talked with the neighbors and everybody's good with it, that's fine. I would vote in favor of her motion because I can't rezone, just like I voted no on rezoning one on John Bragg Highway because there's no guarantee that this will stay with this businessman forever. And if we rezone it, we're making that change forever. So that's why I was asking, kind of wondering what the options were for the applicant. Is they have to reapply no matter what?
Well, like I said, we would work with them as far as, what the process would look like. I mean, it'd be the same process moving forward. It would just be a matter of tailoring the application for more of a planned development. They'd have to, get a pattern book, have a neighborhood, of course, neighborhood meeting is required before the submittal of a planned development, so we would work with them on that.
Well, I'll be voting in favor of this motion to deny for the reasons mentioned, and would encourage the applicant not to give up if the motion succeeds.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to go on record that I'm with Michael. I don't see that this property is really suitable for residential with the soils as they are, and it'll just lay dormant. You can't grow anything on it, and you can't live on it. And it is pretty close to an intersection that we are trying to keep our truck traffic close to. It may be a bit premature, but I think at some point it's slowly going to ease around close to that property. But I certainly hear what Ms. P is saying, and I agree that I think a PUD where we had some restrictions over the future use of it would be more proper.
Anything else? Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Jim Averwater? Yes. Jeff Phillips? Yes. Mike Cush? Yes. Lee Bogle?
Yes.
Charlotte P? Yes. Jim Thompson?
Yes.
Michael Shirley?
Yes.
Pettis Reed?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Has been denied. Moving to item 2. Javier Olvera, REZ 25027. Location is 8635 Chevrolet Pike. The commissioner is Jonathan Beverly. Size of site is approximately 34 acres, 14.84 acres to be rezoned. Tax map 179, parcel 34. Existing zoning, residential low density. Proposed zoning is commercial general. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The applicant for this application has been storing construction equipment such as concrete forms and other related equipment along with business vehicles on this site without any zoning approval. We did meet with the applicant back in September to discuss the situation with the subject with this property. We again discussed potential solutions such as removing the stored material from the site or requesting rezoning to bring the property into compliance. We also stressed to the applicant the importance of obtaining zoning approval prior to starting any non-residential activity on property that's not zoned for it. The applicant has submitted a concept plan demonstrating his development intentions. Again, this is not a planned development, but it does give you an idea of how they would like to develop the property. They are showing a portion of this property be rezoned, about 15 acres of the 34-acre site. There's a storage area identified near the front of the property with secure fencing. There's not much detail regarding the rest of the property. However, the plans are to utilize, if the applicant plans to utilize the remaining of the property, they would have to zone it in a similar manner. This property does have access to Shelbyville Pike. This is a state/federal road, so TDOT would be required to approve any new or improved access points along this particular property. Of course, we would have to have an engineered site plan, a lot like we talked about with the previous application. The same would go with any landscaping and screening and also our performance standards. I will say that this did not come to our attention as the result of a zoning enforcement case. This actually, the applicant has a couple of sites, this one and the other one that was supposed to be on the agenda tonight but was removed. When we found out about the site on Epps Mill Road, we brought him in and had conversations with him regarding the work that he was doing out there from a stormwater and land disturbance standpoint. He mentioned at that time that this site was also one that needed to be brought into compliance. We gave him a pretty stern talking to during that meeting that we had, telling him that, look, you have to have zoning approval for these. You just can't start using them for business storage, business activity, those kind of things. So I think the applicant has, gotten the message pretty loud and clear. However, the result of this is that he's asking for this, at least a portion of this property, to be rezoned. Now, different from the last case, as you can see, Mike just pulled up the zoning on the properties here. You can see the area that's under consideration is in yellow. That's the entire property. Again, it's zoned for residential low density, but you can see that there's quite a bit of non-residential zoning in this area. It's adjacent to property that's in the heavy industrial zone to the north. You've got commercial general property to the south, which is actually owned by the applicant as well, at least the one immediately adjacent to his property. Across the street, you've got commercial services property. Across the street, a little further up to the north is some more commercial services property. And even on the other side of Polly Thicket, you've got some commercial and also some industrially zoned land in that area as well. So there are other non-residential uses, both zoning and actual property uses going on in this area. So with that, this is also along a major corridor. Shelbyville Pike is classified as a principal arterial by TDOT. So if this application were being made just as raw land, there was no activity going on, and it was an application for rezoning, staff probably would make a favorable recommendation on it like we did with this application before you today. But we did, again, speak with the applicant about making sure he had the order correct, actually getting zoning approval before actually using the property. So I think he's well aware of that at this point. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions. The applicant does have a representative here for any questions.
Commissioners?
Question, can you go back to the colored zoning map? Which part is, you said they're only going to want to rezone a portion of this, so it's just right there. So,
correct. If you look at the concept plan in your agenda packets, Mike, could you go ahead and pull that up?
So it's the lightly the aerial map. It's the lightly colored part.
Yeah, hold on.
Is that correct?
He's going to. Are you looking at the concept plan on your packet as well? Okay. Yeah, he's going to pull it up here.
That part. Is it
yes, sir. That lightly colored area.
Just the gray.
That's correct.
And the rest is going to stay?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, we'll ask that the applicant's representative come forward this time. Good evening.
Good evening, Rob Mulchin, SEC, on behalf of the applicant. I'm here to answer any questions that you all may have. As Mr. Nabasi did say, the applicant did have a meeting with them, got the message loud and clear, and that's the reason why we're here tonight, to ask for just this front portion of the property to be rezoned to CG so that we can continue to use the property the way that he was using it without the correct authorization from a zoning standpoint. So.
Rob, if you could explain again the use, what's he doing?
So Mr. Olvera, he is a construction operator. Currently, he owns, as Doug said, the property to the south of this along Shelbyville. So he has the rest of this property. So the front portion he's been using as a storage facility on that side of things. So he's got some construction equipment, some vehicles, that kind of stuff that's on the property. So as part of the concept plan that we've worked up for him is we're looking at making that a fenced-in storage yard on the front end of the property. The rest of the property would be used for gravel and other such things that he would need from a construction standpoint. He's taken on a bunch of new jobs here in the county on that side, from the forensics building on that side, and also the transfer station, and some of the public safety buildings have been some of his newest projects he's taken on here recently on that side. So he's kind of gotten a little bit overboard with some work on that side, so he kind of started using the property without realizing that he needed to get it zoned. So in bringing forward his other project, as Doug talked about, was the fact that he realized that this site needed to be brought into compliance as well, and that's why we're here tonight to ask for that rezoning.
Other questions? No more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Okay, we'll now open it up for public comments. If there are any either for or against, we ask you to come forward this time. You'll have exactly 3 minutes to make your statement. I'd like for you to give us your name and address when you step up here.
My name's Dave Headland. I live at 254 Polythicket Road. And if you look at that section where, that right there, we actually live right across from there. And we're concerned that by giving this a different zoning, that we might have problems with our heavy construction trucks. We live in a very narrow road. There is no shoulder. It's very difficult for two cars to pass on that road, let alone a car and a large commercial truck. Another consideration would be our property values. We're basically behind all of the stuff on 231, but we're still residential, so we're concerned about that. Another concern might be like the dust from the activities that they might have there. So we're really concerned about what they're going to do with that section of the property if this zoning were to go through. That's my primary comment.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Samira Del Moral, and I live in 296 Polythicket Road, where you can see the green area that's just exactly in front of my house. And yes, as same as my neighbor, I'm a little bit concerned about the big construction trucks that usually they use. Sometimes we see them that it is a narrow road, and I don't know exactly where their plans on futures. This is going to be the entrance, because it looks like it's like a kind of like a future driveway in front of my house. So I just want to make sure how this is going to affect my property. Plus, of course, yes, I know that it's great that it's going to be a commercial for them, but I don't know how this is going to affect in the future as well to the tax properties in my little tiny residential home. So that's the biggest concern about the big constructions trucks. So this is the only thing that we don't know exactly what are the plans in the future. Hopefully that little road can be residential. I don't mind to have neighbors. And I hope, they're planning to change the property, so hopefully it doesn't affect the way that we live there peacefully with not so much traffic, so because the kids and the pets that we have. And I know dealing with big construction trucks coming in and out, so we already have big problems with the workers and stuff like that, that they drive reckless over there. So I can imagine just to deal with big trucks now in the future. But, I don't know, so is it possible just to keep that little path that way? That front I don't mind at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If there's not, we're closing the discussion. Do understand that we are only talking about the 14.84 acres to be rezoned. And
we'll kind of show it on the map here. That area that Mike is highlighting, that lighter area right there, that's the area under consideration. Now you can kind of see where the two speakers, where we can see their houses right down there. There's one and there's the other. All that area to the north, if that's part of this property, none of that is up for rezoning on this. So they got a notice because we do the whole property. So that's, I mean, the fact that they're here is great. But I just want to make sure that they understand, that they're, comfortable understanding that that area that they're concerned with, and we share the concerns about Polly Thicket Road, but their only access point is going to be off of Shelbyville Pike, and none of that area that's immediately across from their property across Polly Thicket Road is up for rezoning. That will remain zoned residential.
But we do understand you're concerned about the future too. So that's part of it.
Doug, if we rezone this, they got to submit a site plan.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So everything that's on there right now, we're not making them move it.
Well, they may have to make some improvements and things to it. I mean, it's a storage area, so we'll, work with them on it. So, but there are going to have to be some site improvements as far as access and different things, but screening and whatnot. But for the most part, we'll work with them with how it's currently aligned.
Yeah. TDOT will require a commercial entrance.
That will be covered at site plan. This is highly commercial, entirely different from the one that we just talked to previous to that. And if nobody else has any questions, I'll move to approve with all staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Further discussion.
Question. Doug's, or Mike, stay right there. Or actually, go back a slide.
You mean rotate around, or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, right there. Okay, so from that view, the proposed detention basin, approximately 1 acre, is going to be where those trees are, right? Okay, so let's go back to the, looks like the 3 semi-tractor trailer beds back there. Is that, are they quarrying? Are they digging rock out? It just looks like it looks like a small quarry process going on right there, which would be illegal, right?
That's correct. They don't have any approval for that. And even if this is granted tonight and is approved by the county commission, they don't have approval for any kind of extraction or anything like that. So we'll make sure that the applicant is fully aware that, if there is extraction going on the property, that needs to cease.
Yeah, it just, from the looks of that, there's been some excavation going on, but there's no rock pile. It just looks suspicious, okay? So if you'll just make a note of that.
Can Rob come back up and address that? Is that okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Cush, in regards to that, if there is an activity such as that, it would be ceased and assisted at this point in time in regards to that. I'm not aware of if they are or they are not. I mean, some pictures would make it look like that, but I'm not aware of their operations to know exactly what they're doing. But again, we're going through the site plan process if this was to move forward with the rezoning, so we'll have to make sure that all those things comply with that site plan when it comes through. Yep.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure that, and I don't know that it's economically feasible, makes any sense for the property owner, but that strip of land that the speakers tonight were concerned about and having a driveway, if that is not zoned commercial and they were to put in an access driveway that crosses that and then hooks back into the commercially zoned property, what would be the consequences for that, if any? I mean...
Well, they would have to approach us at first, just for the fact that they would want to do that. That looks pretty non-inviting as far as trying to get an access road through there.
It does.
So I would think there would have to be a lot of, tree cutting, land disturbance and things like that. At that point, we could tell them, look, if you're wanting to use this whole property for some sort of a commercial operation, you really need to come back and zone the whole property. But that has not come up in any discussion we've had to this point on that.
Mr. Chairman, this reminds me a lot of the Smyrna Ready Mix property that they came after the fact. As Mr. Cush said, this is clearly, there's been some land disturbance here, and related to their other property that was taken off, was land disturbance there too. So I'm going to vote in favor of rezoning this partially because it helps us get a handle on what's already been done and making, fixing the problems. Are there applications are they subject to the fines and things of already having done this stuff before coming and getting it?
Well, as far as permitting, there is that option for double permitting that Ms. Bell can speak more to than I can. But I mean, from a rather site plan review standpoint, we don't have anything like that. But I know that they have that ability.
I mean, it's an appropriate request, in my opinion. I just hate that it's basically asking for forgiveness after they've already done some things that maybe wouldn't have been approved, like removing a bunch of rock.
There are no, that I can see of, structures on there currently that we would assess any fines to or levy any fines to. And anything they got in the future, any buildings that they got in the future would be done at normal permit price.
So the red building that he's pointing, it looked like a carport.
Carport type thing.
That they could just move. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Jim Averwater? Yes. Jeff Phillips? Yes. Excuse me. Mike Cush? Yes. Lee Bogle?
Yes.
Charlotte P? Yes. Jim Thompson? Yes. Michael Shirley?
Yes.
Pettis Reed?
Yes,
Motion carries.
it has carried. Moving now into item 3, zoning ordinance amendments, Appendix B and C regarding transfer station and trash compassion. Mr. Mossy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. You'll recall at our last meeting, we brought some regulation changes to you for transfer stations and trash compaction. You'll recall about 2 years ago, we brought those regulations to the Planning Commission for your approval. Those were added into the zoning ordinance after the County Commission approved them back in August of 2023. These uses are classified as extensive impact facilities. They're allowed by right in the heavy industrial district and by special exception in light industrial and commercial general districts. But we feel that since this particular use, transfer station and trash compaction, since they deal with municipal solid waste, they should be treated the same as sanitary landfills. While landfills are classified as extensive impact facilities, they're only allowed by special exceptions in the zone where they are allowed. So what we're proposing is to make a couple changes to treat them in a like manner. You'll see that the first change is to update Appendix B, our land use activity table. Mike, if you could pull that up, that particular page up. So you can see at the bottom there where it says specific uses permitted by special exception only in the marked district. You can see sanitary landfill, many warehouses are there. We would add trash transfer station and trash compaction. And then in the land use index, which is the next appendix over, Appendix C, after the category or after the listing for transfer station and trash compaction, we would just put that bolded text next to that by special exception only as an extensive impact facility. So everything else regarding these regulations would stay the same in our zoning ordinance. This would be the only changes we propose to make. So we do need to have a public hearing on this, and if it is recommended for approval, it'll go to the County Commission for their consideration next month. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners?
What about a recycling, like a sorting facility? Is that fall?
No, there's a separate category in there for recycling centers. That's a use, I forget exactly. I don't think it's extensive impact. It's allowed in light industrial. By right, I do know that. I forget the exact.
In light industrial?
Yeah, it is. So it's more of an industrial type use, but there's a separate category for that.
Any other questions? If not, we will open it up for public comment at this time. Anyone who wishes to come forward, make their comments either for or against. Not seeing anyone, we'll close the public comment appearance. Commissioners?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
To approve, and a second. Further comments? Madam Secretary. Please call the roll.
Jim Averwater? Yes. Jeff Phillips? Mike Cush. Lee Vogel.
Yes.
Charlotte P. Jim Thompson. Michael Shirley.
Yes.
Pettis Reed.
Yes,
Motion carries.
it has carried. Remember that all rezoning regulation amendments requests will be considered at the December 11, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting unless deferred or withdrawn by the Planning Commission or applicant. Mr. Moss, any staff reports and other business?
Yes, sir. Don't have any specific staff reports other than to say that this will be our last meeting before Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody here has a happy and safe Thanksgiving holiday.
Okay, sir. If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.